Well, thanks for joining us for another backstage interview here for the September edition of the Metals Investor Forum. I'm joined by Hugh Agro of Revival Gold, and we're a few days after MIF recording this interview. And Hugh, you guys put out news this morning that you added a third rig at the Beartrack Arnett project. I think that's a pretty good place to start this conversation. I feel, to me, like the big change in the Revival story this year is the scope of what you're trying to do with drilling, the exploration side of it. And now, the scope really got captured with this news this morning. So why don't you just tell us, what's going on with the drilling? Why do you need 3 rigs? And you actually even got to go down to site.
Yeah, I did, which explains my background here. I'm up in quarantine for the next couple of weeks. Was just down at site, meeting with the team, and having a look at the progress and chatting through some of what we're seeing. And it's all very exciting. We've got a super team on the project at Beartrack Arnett. We're through now about 2,600 meters of drilling at Haiti. And we'll have initial results out from the drilling coming by mid-October.
Okay. And so Haiti is an area where we already have a resource. That was what you defined with not very many holes last year. You managed to define an oxide resource over at Haiti, but that was just a starting point. And obviously you're stepping out from that right now.
That's correct. So we have about 200,000 ounces of oxide resource at Haiti, all of it close to surface within 125 meters of surface. The important thing about Haiti is that it's a satellite deposit to what we already have at Beartrack, which is another 400,000 ounces of leach material, and the ADR plant, the power of the rows, the leach ponds, all of that infrastructure. So this is a complementing piece to the aspect at Beartrack, and we're open in all directions at Haiti.
Right. So, I mean, the Haiti and those leachable ounces on the other side of the project are all important because those are going to feed into the sort of first phase mine plan, if you want to call it that, which you're going to wrap a PEA around shortly, which is the leach side of the story. And then on top of that, I mean, that's by no means the only story at Beartrack Arnett. You're also drilling with some of your other rigs, other targets that may have leach component, may have oxide gold in them, but are also more focused on the deeper gold at the project.
Yeah, our drilling beyond the Arnett project, where we have oxide potential, is focused at Beartrack. And at Beartrack, our potential there is all in the mill category. But what's exciting about that, and I think you've alluded to this, is that we're going to be drilling 2 and 3 kilometers south of the footprint of the existing resource at Beartrack in an area known as Rabbit. We're very excited about it. As we were heading into the project on the weekend, Steve Priestmeyer, our VP Exploration, took us aside and pointed out some silicified breccia rock in the vicinity of Rabbit. This material looks a lot like what we see in the South Pit, and it's really got us excited about what we might come up with at Rabbit. These are blind targets, so we don't have any past drill information there. But as you said, it's changing the whole nature of our exploration program at Beartrack Arnett as we move from more expansion drilling to really blue sky exploration drilling.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to one of the keys to me about the Revival story right now is it's in a bit of a transition in a good way. Whereas up until now, the drilling that you did last year, for instance, was fairly safe. Haiti, you defined a new resource, but there was a known oxide component over there. A lot of the holes you have drilled up until this season were pretty safe. You were stepping fairly close to known ounces and expanding gold that you knew was there. This year, you're doing more of that, and you're looking to sort of demonstrate that this asset, which was once one of the biggest gold producers in Idaho anyways, has that kind of potential perhaps again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's getting that balance right, the risk reward. We think we've got lots of upside here. But we also want to, be mindful of the fact that the market can sometimes get ahead of itself, and we want to have a story that's suitable for both an upward move in the gold price and one where we bounce around a little bit. So I'd say low downside risk here, a lot of upside.
All right, and let's just revisit that PEA side of the story. What's sort of the timeline for that? What requirements do you still need to feed into that so that people know what to expect on that side of things?
Yeah, we'll have the PEA results completed and released by the end of this year. Progress is going very well. It's very iterative. We've got Wood PLC on the job, and they're doing trade-off studies. We just put out an announcement with an update this morning on the progress with our drilling and with our PEA. And really, it's about making sure that we get the optimal case for the information we have available to us. So, for example, we've been looking at possibility of a dedicated pad up at Haiti, or bringing the material down to Bear Track and leaching it there. We're also looking at our fleet and how we can optimize on fleet size. And, you're trading off capital against operating costs in that scenario. Thirdly, we've been looking at our possible locations for leach pads and how that might impact our permitting timelines. All of those things come into the picture, but we're making really good progress. We've got some very good data. We've got absolutely the right team in Wood PLC, and led by Rod Cooper, who is our senior technical advisor, and who's done this a ton of times in a lot of different places on a lot of different projects. So knows what to look for and how best to bring this forward. Very excited about it, and we'll have it all out by year end.
And I think it's some of that description, what came to mind as you were going through that description is it kind of reminds me, or it's a good reminder of why there's a lot of money out there that doesn't invest in gold projects until there's at least a PEA wrapped around them, because it's all these things that require a lot of study and investigation and experience and engineering and whatnot to figure out. And so once you do those and can come out the other end with a positive result, then you have a much more tangible item. And so there's a bunch more money that's willing to invest in that in a rising gold market.
Yeah, great point. Great catalyst opportunity for us in terms of the audience of people who can invest in the story. We've got a brownfield site. We know a lot about how that site will respond. So a lot of the risk factors, I think, are understood. And a lot of the opportunities are really sitting in front of us in a very pragmatic way. We can bring this project forward. We've got the former general manager for the operations, so we know where all the skeletons lie, so to speak, in terms of challenges that we might face from an operating point of view. But you're right, this is going to be a big catalyst for us, and I think investors who come on board now will have the benefit of a better price and a better opportunity. I'd say there's one risk with doing a PEA at this stage of the project and on a first phase of that project, and that is, it is not going to be the big project, right? This is 50, 60,000 ounces a year. It's not the big ultimate objective for the company, and the risk is that we undershoot with a PEA. But I think it's a great step to take because we build our credibility, we build the first phase in the project, and ultimately, I think what's really exciting about Bear Track Arnett is the mill potential. And there we have conceptualized by RPA 20,000 tons a day, translates to about 300,000 ounces a year of production. So if we can bring 50, 60,000 ounces in on a leach project and then contemplate this bigger 300,000 ounce a year producer, that's a story that's good on both counts.
Absolutely. Well, you got a little bit of work ahead of you to do that. So get out there and get it done. Thanks so much for finding the time after heading down to Idaho to look at your project to do a little chat with us today.
Thank you, Gwen. Great to be with you.